at you, girl.
She wants to be the star of the show.
Always. She always wants to be the star of the show.
What are we going to talk about today, Steve?
The most important thing, money.
Money. We all love money, don't we?
We all love money. We hate money. We love money. We can't stand it. We can't get enough. We don't have enough. Wish we had more.
Anything else? Anything else about money?
How are we going to pay for this? Do we really need that? Is that a need or a want? Are we frugal? Are we cheap?
Are you crazy?
Are we crazy?
Are you crazy?
I couldn't.
Sammy, is he crazy? Is he crazy? I'm Sue.
And I'm Steve, and we're aging joyfully.
With the help of Sammy.
With the help, definitely, of Sammy. Sammy has grown so much.
She's the one who's helping us age joyfully. We got her to be joyful.
That's right. And she has grown so much since we first got her as a puppy. And she's been in our videos. You can check out our earlier videos with Sammy. And you'll see how she was a little puppy.
She's 10.5 pounds now, which she was only supposed to be 10. Fully grown. She's 6 months. Not a full-grown dog, and she's already surpassed what we were told was going to be her maximum weight.
And she surpassed our expectations, too. And she far surpassed the cost that we had budgeted for her as a puppy. And she just keeps costing more and more. She just got a really nice jacket for the winter.
Oh, they'll see it in one of our
You'll see it in the future videos. But that leads us to... We're going to have to cut some cost here because this is getting out of control.
Well, it's not just Sammy. The results of the election, well, ironically, Elon Musk and I have the same personality. That's pretty weird, isn't it? I'm INTJ and so is he. That means you're a thinker and you think a lot. And Elon and I both think the economy's going to crash. Now, since he's in charge of the economy, I would believe him more than I believe me, right?
Well, that is a sad fact.
He will be in charge of the economy, right?
And it's going to hurt a lot of people.
Well, he said that we need to hurt. He said, I don't know the direct quote, we need to suffer, right? Didn't you see that quote?
A lot of people are
Did you see
suffer.
that? Did you see that quote? He said we need to suffer.
Yes.
Yes. Because he's going to cut $2 trillion out of the budget, and to do that, well, we don't know for sure what he's going to do. We're all uncertain. We're all anxious. We're all scared.
As he works his way up to being a trillionaire from a multi-billionaire.
Well, we're not going to get into that. The point of the video is what we're doing to cut back, save money, which honestly, we have been so frugal our entire marriage, it's hard to even find areas to cut back, but it was our only indulgence. In our entire marriage, we had 3 indulgences, right?
That's right.
What do you think, they were, Steve? What were our 3 indulgences?
Well, one was a vehicle.
That's right. Yes. One was a very expensive vehicle 20 years ago. What was number 2?
Timeshare. Ooh, that was bad.
If we have any regrets, the timeshare was our biggest regret. So those were 2 indulgences. A car that Steve had his midlife crisis and wanted to have. The timeshare, we both thought we had never traveled much. We thought it would be good, but we didn't know that the prices increased so much exponentially each year and actually...
A timeshare, if you're in a timeshare right now, my heart goes out to you. It's very, very difficult to get rid of a timeshare. And it's very difficult to keep one unless you've come to grips with your costs going up on a semi-annual basis.
It's cheaper just to go to that city and stay in a hotel than to have a timeshare.
Yes, it's cheaper.
And this was our 3rd extravagance. But of course, she was a lot cheaper than the car and the timeshare.
Oh, she was, but the costs keep growing.
Oh, well, they're never going to.
As she grows.
They're never going to reach that car or that timeshare.
No. Are you happy? Are you happy?
I mean, most of her costs are gone. We've got her new fixed. Yep. She's she's getting trained. She has all of her pen, her toys. I mean, the majority of her costs are gone except for her monthly heartworm pills.
And she brings a lot of joy. Look at that face.
Well, her biggest expense will be boarding her. That's $42 a night, which some people think is cheap. I think it's outrageous.
Yeah.
$42 a night to board her, or we could take her with us and pay a hotel $100 for the whole visit. If you just go to one city and pay $100 for both dogs, it'd be
Right.
cheaper to take them, but
Right. Well,
That-
we're going to board her and see how she does, and then maybe on future trips that we take, we'll take her with us. I mean, that's why we got a smaller dog so that we could take her with us.
we bought a stroller, which we've shown that, but she has destroyed her stroller. It's barely functional. First she chewed the little clip where you clip her into the stroller. So I couldn't clip her in anymore. And then she's chewed, what did she chew? The zipper where you attach the
Right,
liner to the
right.
sides.
She likes to be in a stroller after we've walked maybe a mile or two. Then she'll be in a stroller and she'll sit there and look out. If she wants to be in a stroller sooner than when she's tired out from walking, then she starts ripping everything inside the stroller. And she has destroyed the stroller that we bought for her first stroller.
Well, I'm going to try to salvage it. I've purchased some Velcro to hopefully try to Velcro the sides of the liner back up and try to salvage it a little bit. I'm definitely not buying another stroller. I'm not going to do that and just throw money away. My biggest pet peeve is throwing money away. I really don't like to waste money. Growing up with two Depression-era parents who taught us to be very frugal. So that's what we're getting back to, the topic of money. Money, money, money. Our parents taught us how to be frugal.
Right, exactly.
So most of our marriage, we've been frugal except for those three indulgent. Three.
Yeah, one of the things that I guess you don't realize about being frugal is that you have to think about if you have a house, you have to think about repairs, and you have to be prepared to do a lot of the repairs yourself, what you can do, because you have somebody come to do repairs. It's very costly. We have had some incidences, even at this new house we're at, where we've had to have people come and fix it, and it's been very costly.
But you know what? You're talking about our toilet repair, which actually, once we found out what it was, we could have
Yeah.
done the toilet
Yeah.
ourselves and just gotten somebody for the drywall. So we did
Right.
throw away a lot of money because we wanted a toilet instantly. We didn't want to wait to go buy it. And then, actually, the plumber was pretty affordable. It was the toilet that cost most of that.
Right.
And then the drywall guy was a little costly. So the first part of our new economy is that illegal immigrants are going to be deported. As we all know, in Georgia and the whole country, a lot of illegals do the yard work. Thankfully, we do our own yard work. I cut the grass and we trim the bushes together. And Steve and I just did this 10,000-pound stone project. And
5 tons.
5 tons at 10,000 pounds.
Ah, yes. The
It's
conversion.
10,000 pounds or 5 tons of stone. And I'm going to attach those two videos in the description, the links to those. So we do our yard work ourselves. Now we have used, we don't know if they're illegal or illegal. We don't ask their status. They did cut down trees and did some other work. But we do attempt to do most of the work ourselves already to save money. If we're able to do it, we do it ourselves. Things we can't do, of course, we have to hire people. Like right now, we need somebody to clean our gutters because I just don't want Steve falling off a ladder. It's not worth the risk. At our ages, you shouldn't be on a ladder. So what else are we doing in this new economy?
Okay, so you have to consider that prices are going to go up, especially when tariffs are going to be put on imports. Mostly everything that we use is imported. So prices are going to go up. So we've started to stock up on toilet paper and paper towels. I know it sounds frivolous, but you do need it. Paper towels you can live without, but toilet paper you do need. And I recommend that you stock up on that. Also,
wait, when we first got married, we didn't use a lot of paper towels. I used cloth napkins and washed them with our wash. And I used sponges or whatever. We were very frugal. Well, the first year we were both working, but we had our child within the first year, and we lost half of our income because we made about the same amount of money. So we cut our income in half. And I used to read books like newsletters, the Cheap White Gazette, The Millionaire Next Door, all these books and newsletters about saving money. And so I got lots of ideas from them, and I think we need to go back to those early days. We only went grocery shopping once a month. We spent $300 a month on groceries, and then we went and got produce one more time during that month at a farmer's market. So we didn't go out. We hardly ever ate out. And we were our thinnest ever, weren't we? We were our healthiest and thinnest ever when we didn't eat out, when we didn't actually go out and do things. Because we were at home with a newborn child, and I had a play group. I started a coupon group where every Monday I asked our neighbors, we had 60 neighbors, I asked anyone who didn't use their coupons, because back then everybody got a newspaper, to put them on their front door knob Monday morning. And Monday morning I would take my son around in his stroller, picking up everybody's coupons, and we had multiple copies. But our groceries, I remember, were $300 a month.
Right. And now that's obviously gone up.
Well, now I think it's about at least $900 a month for our groceries.
At least.
And that's two of us, and that was...
But couponing has become easier if you shop at a Kroger or a Publix or Harris Teeter.
We don't
or
use
Ralph's.
coupons anymore, really.
But you can use coupons, and it's become easier because it's all electronic, it's all on the internet. And most stores do have coupons. We don't use them.
But we shop most of our food at big box stores.
Right.
Costco and Sam's is the majority of our food. And then Walmart. So we don't use the coupons because I was using...
We don't use them.
I was using so many. And then during the Great Recession, Steve lost his job, and our groceries, I remember then, were $1,000 a month with two teenagers. And with all the coupons, I went on all the Hip to Save and all the coupon sites and printed coupons. Plus, again, asked these new neighbors to again give me their coupons, and they did. And we cut our groceries from $1,000 a month to $300 a month again, right?
Right. And we used to have in our basement, we had a lot of shelves. And we stored everything down there that we got with coupons.
Everything, but most of the food was processed. Today, in our new diet, we try not to eat the canned and processed food.
Right.
Because of salt and sugar, we have changed our diet in the last 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So we try not to eat those foods that last for years and years, but of course we do. Every morning we eat rolled oats. So we are going to buy several bags of rolled oats that are dated out about a year or so.
Yeah, so you just have to look for bargain steals. And
well, we're doing that because grains are supposed to be one of the things that are going to inflate crazy, right?
Grains.
With our new world, with the tariffs.
Yeah, grains and meat is going to go up along with some other staples. Produce is going to go up. And so
now meat, we can cut down our meat, just eat less meat. We can eat less of some of the costly things, but produce is healthy, and that's going to go up the most for two reasons, right?
Yeah. Because
one, the deportation of the illegals, there won't be anybody to pick the fruits and vegetables, which happened a few years back, and two, because of the tariffs.
Right.
So
for ones that are for produce that's imported, and during the colder months, then there's a lot of produce that's imported from Mexico and Peru and Guatemala, and those will have tariffs, and the prices for those will go.
And I wish we had a garden, but we don't. We're not. Growing up in cities, we were never big gardeners, and I do regret that. We were going to start one at one point, but we're just not gardeners. We've learned landscaping in the garden and the flowers, the Zen garden we created, and then the flowers. But the bushes we planted, the trees we planted, we never did get around to creating a garden. Plus, we have a lot of squirrels and birds that come and eat things. So, and then the dogs. So we just never did. And that's probably another regret. Although I say I have no regrets, we don't know how high these costs will get. So I mean, in giving up, I guess we would give up eating out. That's the one thing. We have been eating out once or twice a week now, which was once a month. We've been frivolous and eating out. That we may have to go down to no eating out.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
No.
I mean, when you make meals at home, can be healthier for you. I mean, in a restaurant, yeah, the food tastes great and it's real easy. You pick from a menu and they bring it to you. And you don't have to wash dishes, you don't have to clean up. But the food has salt, sugar. You don't know what is the quality of the sauce or the quality of any of the ingredients that could have chemicals in them, because America does allow a lot of chemicals that aren't allowed in European countries in your food.
But that's also in our food we're making at home as well.
Well, then you're more selective at home in what you use. I know I am when I cook.
And then, okay, what else? We've been crazy with buying clothes, and I was going to do a video on how many clothes that I bought myself in the last year because they're so cheap. Do you think clothes are going to go up as well?
I think they are. I think everything's going to go up. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people probably don't realize this, but the jeans that you wear, or some people call them dungarees, they're not 100% denim anymore, and they haven't been for a while. They have different materials in them where they've kind of cut up the denim part of it. And that's what has kept the price down. If you look at, let's say, if you look at Levi's jeans, which are 100% denim in most cases, depends on what style you're buying, they're expensive compared to some of the other brands. And if you look at some of the more expensive brands than Levi's, I mean, they're expensive for a reason. They have a comfortable fit, but they're made of denim, and that's a big difference. The lower cost jeans, like somewhere around 19, 20, 25 bucks, they have polyester in them. They have other things in them to make them stretchable. But finding 100% denim is going to be expensive. I mean, there's a $150 pair of jeans that's very comfortable, and they are 100% denim. So prices will go up on clothes, and that's just one example.
But since we've lost our weight and I've rebought all my whole wardrobe over the last year or two, we don't really need a lot of clothes. I mean, I don't know that you could go 4 years because the clothes are lower quality, like you've said, so they do rip more easily. But we have so many clothes and shoes. I don't think we could probably hold off on coats. And coats, we have so many coats and jackets because they're $10, $15, $20.
Yeah.
I think we could probably cut back on our clothes. What, don't you agree with that one?
Yeah, I mean, I have a coat that I like that I wear, and it's a few years old. In fact, I keep it in my car, and you know, I think that you can wear coats for a number of years. I remember growing up, I got one coat, and it lasted me forever.
It's funny, we had one of everything growing up, but of course it was better quality. They didn't fall apart, didn't rip.
Right. And unless you were growing rapidly, you know, I mean.
And I wasn't. I was always small.
And I know that my parents waited until you go through your growth
I mean, all my clothes, I was the fourth person to wear them. I have 3 sisters, and they were still no rips, no nothing. So I was the fourth person to wear those clothes, and our whole mindset of clothes has changed so much. I think the average amount of pieces of clothing you buy a year is 58, and I was going to count mine one day. I never got around to it, and do a video and see how many pieces of clothing I bought in the last year because they are so cheap. And like I said, a lot of them do rip and stain because they're poor quality. They do get destroyed. But we're going to make an effort on shoes and clothes, cut back on shoes and clothes, and like we said, food, eating out. Utilities, we are pretty frugal already, and we have such good insulation. Our electric bill has been very reasonable. Our water is getting higher and higher, and we don't even water the lawn or clean our cars. So water, I don't know. I mean, I guess Steve does run it sometimes when he's putting things in the dishwasher. He runs it quite a bit. Or our showers. I love long, hot showers. But that's, even at, I mean, water's about $40 a month. So even if we cut back on that, you might save $5 or $10 a month. That's not a big one.
Right, and I'm sure if you look through your expenses, you can see places where you can cut, and it really won't hurt. And so it's, you know, it's worth doing that. It's worth knowing about having to, and I don't want to use the word suffer, but there has to be a time where you kind of take account of, am I living a little too comfortably?
Well, Steve, I'm thinking of young people who have young children who have them in daycare. You really can't cut back on daycare. You really can't cut back on a fixed car payment if you've already made that obligation. So it is a different world today. When we had our child, we cut our income in half because we gave up my income. Daycare was $300 a month, and my income was a lot more than $300 a month, but we cut it in half because of that priority to us.
Right.
I mean, sometimes we feel that young people do buy whatever they want. We do sometimes feel like that. But on the other hand, I do feel for the younger group that do have children in daycare.
Yeah,
things
daycare is expensive.
Yeah, and healthcare costs, if you have any healthcare condition, we have been lucky, I guess I would say, that we've had good genes overall. I mean, we have had numerous surgeries through the years, that we had great insurance at the time. My last surgery was over 20 years ago when we had great insurance, which we no longer have. So we are making that effort with food, exercise, and stress levels to try to keep that healthy. But with our sleep apnea, that's a chronic condition.
Well, that is the main thing, is your health. If you have good health, then you will cut your expenses. If unfortunately you don't have good health, then it's going to become very, very expensive. I think that if you don't have tests done, like when you go to a doctor, if you do go to a doctor for a checkup once a year, which you should do, then at that point you should have your A1C checked, which is your glucose levels. And if you do have high A1C, cut back on your sugar. In fact, cut sugar out.
Well, carbs is what the doctor told me.
Carbs, and because carbs turn into sugar. So you think you're eating rice and you're healthy. Well, rice is heavy in carbohydrates, and that turns to sugar in your body. And so you're not really helping yourself. So you say, well, what? And this is a whole nother video. What can I eat? Because rice is a big part of my diet. Noodles, pasta, big part of my diet. Bread, big part of my diet. Anything with carbs is going to turn to sugar in your body, and that's going to hurt you. So cutting that out is extremely important to keep your A1C in check so you don't fall into pre-diabetic and then diabetic, because at that point, your health care skyrockets. When you have to take a medication every day or a shot, or if you need a device to check your sugar levels constantly, that starts to run into a lot of money.
But I want to say, in addition to food, you blame people's diets, but actually stress and sleep has a huge amount of determining if you become diabetic. With our sleep apnea, we're at a much higher risk of becoming diabetic because if you don't get that proper sleep, your insulin goes up in the middle of the night. And so we focus on proper sleep and reducing our stress. And to do that, we're doing hikes, which we would be hiking right now if it weren't raining. So we made this video instead. But getting Sammi, we're supposed to reduce our stress. And
so I had actually met a gentleman who's 52 years old. Or 53 years old, actually. And he said, I was healthy all these years. And then I started to feel real listless and tired and thirsty all the time. And I went to a doctor, and a doctor told me I had diabetes. 52 years old, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And he had a job over those years that was very stressful. And it was stressful morning, noon, and night. And he'd be stressed at night at home, and he'd barely sleep. And he ended up with diabetes because of all that. And so what Sue is saying here is your sleep, your stress level, and what I'm saying is your diet and exercise will make you so much healthier if you have all of that in check.
If you are looking at buying a car, I'd probably do it today rather than next year. The stock market for retirement surged. It's going to probably go down. So while it's up, we do want to take some money out. And then once it goes down, we have to have those years of recovery. So we're going to shift things into CDs and hopefully have years to go back to being up again. Because stocks are cyclical, they go up and down. They can't be up at all times. They are at an all-time high ever right now. I mean, we're so frugal already. Our vacations are based on getting credit
Just think
cards.
of your everyday expenses. That cup of coffee you might buy every day.
You probably want to write them down.
If you do write them down, then you're...
For a month.
Yeah,
I recommend writing them down for a month.
Yep.
See what you're spending money on. And again, those fixed costs, that daycare, that car payment, the house payment, they can't be changed. Moving is expensive. I mean, I know people who buy cars because they're like, oh, it takes too much gas, but that car payment is way more than that gas.
Maybe buying a car isn't for you.
I mean, because my car is 10 years old. We paid $25,500 10 years ago, and we'd probably get maybe $15,000 for it today. So I've had it 10 years, but I'm keeping it forever. When we bought it, I said, this is my last car ever. We bought a Honda because that's been the most reliable our entire marriage. So, like I said, we've been frugal. There's not a lot of areas we could come back. But hey, did you notice my necklace?
Hey, look at that. That's pretty nice.
So it's actually not my necklace. It's I'm giving these to my sisters and sister-in-law. This is going to my youngest sister-in-law, and I'm just trying them out for everybody. So I've got that video on the Daisy Festival and these beautiful origami necklaces. Everyone is unique.
Yeah.
And
it's made of paper.
And this, I just think this one's special because I like this old-time antique look. Although this is not mine, I'm giving it away. I just wanted to try it out and see how it looked. I always thought it would look great with the turtleneck, right?
Yeah, it does. It does look great.
So, hey, try to keep your joyful attitude, right?
Yeah. I think, it's not depressing to think about your expenses and trying to save. Actually, you should look at it as an adventure. Write down the dollars that you spend every day, every week, every month, and look at it at the end of a month and understand what you're spending money for. Is it worth it? And that will help you. You should always put a certain amount of money from your paycheck into a 401k or a piggy bank or under your mattress or in an institution.
Not really.
Do something with your paycheck. Don't think that you have to spend all of it. Although I know bills are very expensive these days. And think about where you could cut. And I know it's difficult. It's very difficult. Because you're living your life. And,
well, no, I mean the whole election, basically, the whole election was won for Trump because of inflation, because people are struggling, and I mean it's cyclical. Like I said, this was the '70s, late '70s, early '80s. I think we were lucky when the worst. I was thinking back over our marriage, and I think the worst times we were young, and I think it's best to be young when it's the worst times because you don't really have anything. So we were young in the early 80s, but it was still a little bad in the late 80s, and our mortgage, what was our first mortgage, 14% or something?
Something like that.
I think my car was outrageous too. I found that car note recently, and it was I couldn't believe how high that percent was. I don't remember right now, but I think it's best to be young before you get into that daycare, and I don't know. I think that people who are the people who I think are hurt the most are that really elderly. They're the ones who are hurting the most with this huge inflation and continued inflation. And then people who want to buy a house who can't buy a house. But let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Our last house, we paid almost what was equivalent to a second mortgage in repairs. One time our neighbor was renting for like 7 years, and I did a calculation of them renting for 7 years versus us owning, and they were actually ahead of us because houses today are not built like they were years ago. This one's 4 years old, and like we said, things are breaking already in 4 years.
That's right.
So I know it's a wealth builder to have a house, but as the value of the house went up, our property tax and insurance and taxes, everything went up. And then just all the yard work and inside work. It's a house. I say be young, rent, and enjoy your life.
That's right.
I know, but rents are so crazy now. So there's no perfect solution, but you just do what you can do, and you get through these tough times. And you look back and you go, you know what? Some of our happiest times were when we had the least amount of money.
That's right. That's right.
I think they were.
And so the whole message here is look at your expenses, see where you can cut back, see where you can save, but just keep in mind that inflation is going to go up. It's been coming down, and it's about to go up. And it's going
that's a quote from Elon Musk.
Right, and it's going to go up with the new administration. And so if you are in a position where you can buy some things now, like toilet paper, like
But then you
paper
can't buy 4
towels.
years of toilet
No, you
paper.
can't. You can't, but that will give you a little leadway. You know, if you buy canned food, you know, that will give you somewhat of a leadway.
I believe it's a lifestyle change. I think it's living
It
that
is.
way. I think it's living like we've done for our over 3 decades of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That we've been frugal so much so that when we wanted Sammy, we were able to get Sammy, right?
Right, exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't know. Life is tough. It's not easy for the young, the old, they're in between. It is
It is,
tough.
no, life is a challenge every day, but you only have one life.
And,
So,
and staying in touch with your friends, family, neighbors, that gives you that support so you feel like you're not in this alone. I just talked to one of our oldest friends who we've known for over 30 years, and she was a little sad too, but, you know, I said, you know what? The key is staying in touch, talking, reaching out, and keeping your good attitude.
True. Always have a positive attitude. Tomorrow can be better than today. You
Tomorrow's
don't
not
know.
promised.
It's not
Tomorrow-
promised, but it could be better than today. You know, you can't tell what's going to happen in the future. You know what happened in the past. You have to let it go, learn from it, and then live each day as it comes.
Okay, we're going to try to keep aging joyfully.
That's right, aging joyfully with our dog Sammy
And Sierra,
and Sierra.
who's really aging these days.
Well, she's 13 and a half, and it's a gloomy day, and she spent most of the day on the sofa.
So I'll put some links in the description of some of our other videos. Check those out. And until we see you again,
Take it easy.
Cause they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun. As she puts her hand in mine.